Please subscribe. Don't be a Karen. The hidden motivations behind the Karen movement. Intro. The birth of a meme. It started as a joke. A woman in a parking lot, yelling at someone filming her. A short clip goes viral. Comments pour in. Classic Karen. The world laughed. But beneath the humor, something darker stirred. Who is Karen? Why did this name, this archetype, become one of the most powerful cultural weapons of the 21st century? Today, we'll uncover the hidden motivations behind the Karen movement, how it exposed power, race, gender, entitlement, and the collective anxiety of a society learning to hold itself accountable. Chapter 1, Beyond a Name. In Beyond Karen by Karen Willard Ribeiro, the author, a real Karen, grapples with the shame of her own name becoming a meme. She writes that, to be a Karen is to carry the weight of an entire culture's frustration. In her memoir Reflection, she unpacks the emotional and spiritual journey of being labeled as the problem. She argues that the Karen stereotype emerged because modern society needed a villain, a white middle-class woman who symbolized privilege, control, and ignorance in an age that demanded accountability. Meaning, Karen isn't just a person, it's a mirror. We created her to project our collective guilt, fears, and power struggles. Chapter 2. The Rise of Entitlement. The Karen phenomenon, unmasking the entitlement in the age of social media, digs into what psychologists call perceived status threat. When people feel their control or authority slipping, say from social change, new norms, or even generational shifts, they may assert dominance in subtle or loud ways. The Karen archetype captures that exact anxiety. The fear of losing one's voice in a world that no longer centers them. The panic of no longer being the customer who's always right. The book argues that social media didn't invent entitlement, it just filmed it. It held up a camera to the moment someone's private frustration became public shame. The Karen movement wasn't born from cruelty. It was born from visibility. Chapter 3. Chronicles of Control. In Chronicles of the Karen by H.M. Tan, satire becomes sociology. Each short story portrays everyday scenarios where minor conflicts escalate into moral theater, over masks, parking spots, and customer service. Tan reveals that behind every meltdown is a loss of control. The Karen moment becomes an attempt to reclaim order in a chaotic world. But in exposing that, Tan also exposes us. Why do we watch these clips with such fascination? Why does someone else's humiliation give us such pleasure? Because it validates our own moral superiority. It says, at least I'm not like her. Meaning, the Karen movement isn't just about judgment, it's about self-absolution. Chapter 4. The Book of Karen. A Parody with Purpose. The Book of Karen, Activities for Reactionary Adults, treats the archetype with biting humor. Crossword puzzles about entitlement, coloring pages about public meltdowns. But hidden in the satire is a truth. Mockery has become modern therapy. In laughing at the absurd, we process what we can't confront directly. Racism, privilege, rage, inequality. Humor became the acceptable face of anger. Each viral Karen video acted as a social exorcism, publicly punishing behaviors society once ignored. Meaning, laughter became the new language of justice. Chapter 5. Stigma and the Social Identity Crisis. A 2021 academic paper titled Karen, Stigmatized Social Identity and Face Threat in the Online-Offline Nexus, calls the phenomenon digitally amplified stigma. It explains that labeling someone a Karen is a face-threatening act, a way of attacking social identity. The label shames individuals for perceived entitlement, but it also simplifies complex emotions into one easy villain. What's dangerous, the authors argue, is that we've turned ordinary conflict into identity warfare. Being filmed in a bad moment can erase one's entire humanity in seconds. Meaning, the Karen label became a modern scarlet letter. Chapter 6. The Privilege. Paradox. At its core, the Karen phenomenon is about white female fragility and power. Sociologists link it to a long history of weaponized victimhood, moments when white women used emotion to assert control or summon authority. But here's the paradox. The same cultural power that once protected them now exposes them. The phone camera replaced the police call. The crowd replaced the court. and the internet replaced reputation with virality. Meaning, what once shielded privilege now shines a light on it. In an era of constant recording, moral judgment has become entertainment. The Karen movement fed into the surveillance culture. Film first, empathize later. Each video becomes a mini trial with millions of jurors. The speed of condemnation leaves no room for context. But even in exposing bad behavior, we risk creating a new cruelty, a society addicted to outrage, where everyone fears being the next meme. Meaning, the Karen movement revealed not just their entitlement, but ours. In Beyond Karen, Ribeiro writes about healing, about facing shame and transforming it into empathy. She argues that society can't progress through humiliation, only through awareness. What if instead of mocking, we asked, what pain, fear, or loneliness drives someone to need control so badly? She invites us to replace canceling with confronting, to see the humanity even in the meme. Meaning, the only way beyond Karen is compassion. From satire to sociology, these books collectively show how the Karen label evolved from comedy to cautionary tale. It teaches us, power doesn't vanish, it shifts. Privilege, when unexamined, becomes pathology. Shame, if left unchecked, can poison both the accused and the accuser. The Karen movement was never just about a haircut or a complaint. It was about who gets to define civility in a changing world. Meaning, the Karen story is our story of entitlement, awakening, and the uncomfortable process of growth. The next time you see a Karen moment online, ask yourself, are we laughing at her or at the parts of ourselves we'd rather not face? The Karen movement began as a meme. It became a mirror, and maybe in that reflection, we can finally learn something about humility, empathy, and what it really means to be seen. Like and subscribe for more book summaries.